I'm Genevieve Durham de Cicero.
I'm Rachel Hirschhorn Johnston.
Four years ago, I premiered a dance work called Punchline that dealt with the onset of my father's dementia. So we had the opportunity to consider application for a grant source that would fund projects related to the integration of arts and medicine. And at that point, I approached Rachel, knowing that she also had a lived experience with this disease.
Something that we have kind of in common is that my father also has Alzheimer's and dementia. So what was really exciting when Genevieve first approached me was her interest, our mutual interest in actually developing that further.
Right. It involves a lot of ensemble cast work, a lot of audience interaction, and perhaps most uniquely, a variety of performance modes. So included are things like traditional concert dance, but also improvisation.
The other portion of this comes from the beautifully creative minds of our cast. They're so open and they're finding these places where they resonate with their own personal story with the subjects that are coming up. We together wanted to celebrate the humanity of this disease rather than the devastation.
I am an actor first. I've been an actor longer than anything else I'm about to describe. So I was an actor. I did a little directing after that, very little playwriting. Recently, being in grad school, I have been learning to educate and teach, and I'm loving it.
Well, I would consider myself a dancer first, and that's how I was trained. And I also am a trained choreographer, but I also sing and act sometimes. I like doing all of that.
I am a creator and I'm a playmaker. I like performing. I consider myself a performer rather than just a dancer. And I'm a Texas Tech alumni. That's what I got.
Yeah, but I love any art. So I love the theater, the literature. But yeah, I think I am an artist.
I would say I'm probably I'm an actor-creator. I'm also a dancer and a poet and a clown.
A clown?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you elaborate on that?
I feel like clowns are the people who suffer in the world, yet they laugh the whole time. And I think that actually really lends itself to this project.
Interesting.
I value collaboration and multidisciplinarity. I work a lot with Theater for Social Change. I'm really interested in communities that have less access to theater, or how can theater be used as an educational tool in places that it might not normally be used.
I am an actor, director, playwright, academic.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
I've had some family members that have passed away from Alzheimer's.
My grandmother took care of my grandfather when he started, took care of my great-grandfather when he started exhibiting signs of dementia.
My grandfather had dementia before he passed away, and my great uncle currently has dementia, and he's actually living in a nursing home.
My grandfather suffered from dementia.
There's a degree of dementia with my grandparents, and I'm beginning to see it a little bit with family closer to me.
And then he passed away, and then my grandmother started showing signs of dementia, so that my mother moved back to Texas to begin taking care of my grandmother.
It was taxing on my family, and I don't think we realized how far gone his memories were until it was too late to really preserve the ones we wanted to keep.
I've watched friends and family suffer and sort of try to negotiate, sort of struggle to figure out how to best support people that they love who are negotiating dementia in their lives.
One of the characters that I play, Susan, talks about going and visiting a home, and it was really hard for me, but also fruitful to be able to go and experience that firsthand to honor her story.
It's this real web of connectiveness that I think happens between people that have people in their life dealing with dementia.
The more we have learned about this disease and everything, the more I actually see it in my real life, or the more like I have just become aware that this disease is everywhere.
It brings it home a little more and makes me want to be a part of something that can bring more awareness to it.
This material, this show is very important to me to spread awareness and to tell other people's stories. There's so many common threads that I feel like that a lot of the things that are happening in my family, we're telling their stories too.
Today I am be able to understand what mean life with dementia.
A very easy process, mainly because of the company. Yeah, it's just been nice to work with fellow artists that just give everything of themselves for this really hard subject, but it hasn't like affected us to where we feel pity or sorrow for anyone. It's actually like lifted us up because there's like a mission behind this whole show.
Well, it began almost a year ago now, and we spent a month last summer starting this. I didn't know what to expect. I knew what it was about, but I didn't know what the show was going to entirely be like, devising it and what we would include in it. I've been very pleasantly surprised since then.
I think this process is a very cathartic experience for a lot of people involved, while also really, for me, the journey of it being that there's a really great interweaving of stories.
We started working with Dr. Tyler Davis and started getting information on dementia and the various forms of the diseases that are all related to this situation with the brain.
And the use of the surveys has been very interesting, and the fact that the audience sticks around and really has this pull to continue conversations with us about perspectives on dementia.
Just the different elements that came, I feel like the journey, for me at least, became the entire piece. Just starting with this really specific person and then venturing out into the world and realizing there's that connectiveness again. We're all in it.
Audiences are really touched by the work.
I have seen people crying, people smiling, and different, and I think they felt part of the piece, and that is beautiful.
It's palpable. Like you feel it in the audience when we're done. There's almost this strange barrier that gets built where they often, when we have works where people are like, I don't know if I should talk to them. That's not the case with Remember This. I feel like our audience members are eager to come and tell their stories after the works. They're eager to talk about it, to tell us about so-and-so and my grandfather and this person and the experiences that they're seeing.
No matter how many people we have in the audience, it seems like this show is being, what we're doing is really being received well. And we'll have people come up and tell us amazing stories about how they're affected, how people they know are affected.
You know, we see tears, we see people laughing in the same 50-minute performance, which I think illustrates to us that we've created a performance that elicits a range of emotions and takes viewers on an experience, on a journey themselves.
I feel like it speaks to what the work does, which is create this web of stories and this beautiful, almost like quilt-like attribute where we just keep adding layers and layers and parts.
Even if they're not deeply connected with someone who's struggling with dementia, they better understand what the disease is, and they're curious about, I don't know, what they can do to help, or where these stories came from. They want to know more about the show after it's over, which to me is the marker of a successful show. I think this show has much more to say, and and that it could be expanded into, I don't know, several different shows, or this show could be expanded into something longer, but I also feel like more communities need to see it.
But I would love to take this to a more mainstream like audience.
I'd like to see it expand. I'd like to see, I think this work has life, and I think something cool about a work that has life is it can grow and develop.
I would love to see it performed internationally, specifically with my connections with, Nigeria and Ghana and South Africa, because I think it's really interesting to understand perspectives that are not American on dementia, and how is that being, I guess, both medically, emotionally, psychologically, how is dementia being explored in other countries?
It seems to me that a project like this, until there is a cure, is something that people are always going to need to talk about and want to talk about. And I think that the experience of Remember This opens up those lines of communication for caregivers, for family members, for people who are afflicted with the disease themselves.
Because we've had such great audience response to the show, I think that touring it would be a really great opportunity to really get these stories out even more, and to get people talking about the disease and how arts and medicine are integrated, and what a great thing that is.
I'd like to see this tour. I think it would be a really great educational element. I think having this as an opening dialogue to let's talk about dementia is a great way to attack this. I think breaking down some of those barriers that people have, it's hard to talk. Getting even in an interview, it's hard to talk to people, and it's hard to kind of talk about something that's tough. And I think giving people a space where, okay, we've broken down some of the tough stuff for you. Use this because now you've got a way to your own expression.
Most important is I want to continue give this information to the people and everywhere.
Awareness everywhere, I think, is very important, and I think that we're a part of that. And I would like to see this grow into it, and I would like to see it reach more people, if just through media alone, if not necessarily a personal show. I would love to see that sort of stuff happen internationally, and I think we can do it.
This is a life story like so many others, and what we wanted to do was create a work that would engage our audiences and encourage them to reconsider previous perceptions about this disease, about people they know living with it, and then go out and share those new perceptions with other people.
Since the dawn of time, storytelling has been a catalyst for change, and we hope that this particular story facilitates change